I'm ready. Hey, everyone, we're live. That was for you, Dave. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 148 of the Crafty Boys, where this week we're drinking beer that I don't have on my desk, so I have to go get it.
Oh. That's great planning.
I'll
tell you what. Why don't you introduce the beer first?
So the beer this week is from Category 12 Brewing over there on Keating Crossroad, I think, in just north of Victoria, sort of in between Victoria and Sydney. If you know the area, great, awesome. If you don't, who cares? But they make beer there, and the beer that they made for us this week is called Mainframe. It's beer. I don't even remember what type it is because I don't have the bottle in front of me.
All right, so you go get your beer.
Fill the airwaves.
All right, so it's a red ale from Category 12, 5% alcohol by volume. Let's see here what it says on the back. Our Mainframe red ale embodies the essence of compatibility. Light and fruity aromas evoked by Belgian-inspired brewing techniques are married with a malt-forward base to keep all the systems in your life humming in perfect synchronicity. There we go. It's got an IBU rating of 21. They say to serve it at 6 degrees Celsius. And interesting, there's a value. There's other values on here. The original gravity is 1.053, and this also gives one SRM. What is SRM? Do we think?
Sweet made of. I screwed that up.
Well, that was
anyway. The SRM is
a short-range missile, actually.
Short-range missile. There's got 15 short-range missiles in it. Okay. We are beer aficionados here.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
are experts in beer. All right. So
I like this. The beer worth leaving your career for. That's my favorite part.
Where does it say that?
Right on the back of the bottle. Doesn't yours say that?
I don't know. Oh, yes, it does. In big, bold print.
Big, huge letters? Okay, I was getting...
Put on your glasses, Alan.
Alan's had a stroke.
Is anybody else smelling burnt toast?
Is anybody seeing naked Minnie Mouse?
You know...
That's actually not too bad. Look at that.
You kind of sound like you didn't have very high hope.
Well... I just never had it before, so I was a little concerned.
What?
So what I'm surprised by, Category 12, I always think Category 12, and I think like, maybe like, you know, a bread IPA or maybe a double IPA or something with a lot of hops anyway. This sounds like this is like they're going kind of in a Belgian direction with what is normally a very Cascadian style of beer, which is the red ale.
Yeah.
Is it, how Belgian is it?
It's sweet. It's definitely definitely malty.
Yeah.
I'm getting sort of, you know, like the fruity aromas.
It is.
That's not coming through in the flavor. Now we're getting some nice lacing on the glass. It's the head isn't pouring incredibly thick or anything. I mean, but it's nice. It's kind of all like holding. It's a nice beer. I'm really liking it.
It is. I like the fact that I think all of their beers are not filtered. If I can't really tell on the camera, but
no, I'm thinking this is filtered.
I'm not seeing any stuff.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any shrub or anything.
Well, it says on their website that it's not filtered.
Oh, all right. Well, then, all right. Screw you, Dave.
Well, yeah. So you can always use Spanish moss as a clarifying agent.
That's true, which they might have done. Spanish moss does it really well. I should actually get some more because I've only done it on a couple of the brews that I've made.
So, Shane.
Yes.
Why did you pick this beer?
Because it was available. I mean, quite honestly, we've had such trouble getting stuff like in the past
couple
2-3 weeks. that I decided that because this is a summer seasonal, like this is one of their seasonal beers. I said it twice. Yeah. But basically, it was there on the shelf. We've talked about it before. I think last year, I think we tried to get it, but I couldn't get it, or somebody couldn't get it. And right beside it on the same shelf was the other beer, which we will talk about next week. But because I got I got them this time at Legacy the other day because they were the most. There was a lot of them at the store, so I figured that there must be a lot of them elsewhere. Like Dave, where did you get yours?
My usual over at Cascadia.
Yeah. And Alan, where'd you get yours?
I got mine at Liquor Plus, but I've seen it at Cascadia. I've seen it everywhere here.
Yeah, well, same here. So I figured
it didn't come out that long ago. I think it's only been out a couple weeks. So I mean, it would stand to reason that it would be heavily available right now.
So I just like it. I don't know. It's been around before. We've seen it on the shelves before, and I've never had it anyway. Why not?
And, you know, category 12 makes such good stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always a pleasure to sample one of their products on the program here. I do want to point out that, and this is timely, category 12 in their tasting room, it used to be that you could just get flights, and that was it. Flight had 3 4-ounce samples on it for I think $5 or something like that, which is a pretty good deal. Now they have just gotten their license that allows them to serve pints in their tasting room.
Oh, nice.
Huh?
So, Locke, I missed it, or did you say? What did you have? What are you consuming?
Right. So, presently I am quaffing a Big Rock beverage, which I normally know to come from their Vancouver brewery. So, the fact that I'm getting this in Ontario is a little weird. I saw no sign of the usual suspects in terms of Alberta brews, like traditional or say Grasshopper. So yeah, I don't know whether I mean, I don't think, to my knowledge, Big Rock have not set up a brew pub in Ontario yet, but maybe I should check that. Maybe I'm wrong. But my guess is, and I'm just going to look at the can and see if I can confirm my guess. Yeah, this would have been imported from Vancouver, it looks like, because it says brewed and canned by Big Rock Brewery in Calgary, Vancouver, and Etobicoke. Oh, wait a minute, Etobicoke. Maybe this is from Etobicoke. Could be.
So is Big Rock becoming like Canada's next big national brewery? They seem to be kind of going that way.
Well, see, I don't know. That's not totally out of the running or anything, but I don't see them ever becoming like a Sleeman's or something like that, if you see what I mean. Their product is sort of too boutiquey to really be like a well, I don't know.
But it's interesting how they're kind of going about it. Like say Phillips here in Victoria, you can get a lot of their stuff, across the country now, but they make all of it here in Victoria and then they ship it out. Whereas Big Rock seems to open up smaller breweries across the country and filling those areas with their product.
Okay, it's not as far out as I had sort of imagined. So I'm seeing it's like kind of Queensway-ish.
Okay.
on.
Holding on. So, I mean, it's really interesting anyway.
Yeah. So it's sort of sandwiched between the Queensway and the Gardner. Just the other side of the IKEA. So it's sort of Islington, Ontario.
Right. It's interesting.
So it's still a ways out. You wouldn't be walking there or anything.
But it's an interesting way. So instead of making the product in one center and then shipping it across the country, they're making it in various centers and just filling the need in that particular area.
Yeah, and I guess what else I'm thinking is on the basis of the fact that they're in Etobicoke, I'm assuming that they picked that location not because they're trying first and foremost to be a venue, but because first and foremost they really are a brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's sort of how I read that. Not that I know 100% for sure.
Right.
So that's what I'm drinking right now, and it's very tasty. I don't know. We've talked about Citradelic on this show before, I'm pretty sure, and
yes,
it's a very nice beverage. I like them a lot. I have something more interesting though coming up. I haven't cracked it open yet because I'm having my warm up beer. But I got warm up beer, right? So Maverick Brewing, and these guys seem maybe more like a venue and maybe a little bit less like a brewery, but still evidently they're brewing beer, and they have a retail outlet which has just opened recently, and they're selling beer, and they're not an LCBO or a beer store, which makes them highly exciting in Ontario land. And what I have here is their Destroyer Double IPA, 9%.
Destroyer.
Yeah, Destroyer.
Now, what drew you to that beer? Is it the Iron Maiden type font?
The Iron Maiden font actually was something that I thought would be interesting to bring up. Yeah. Now that Iron Maiden have gotten themselves into actually selling beer, how much of an infringement is it when beer companies ironically borrow the Iron Maiden font for their labels?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, I mean, the first thing I thought of when I saw that label, I thought to ask, is Iron Maiden somehow involved?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, not that they couldn't be, but it would surprise me.
Because you would think that their font, their typeface would be copied.
I think the part of the issue there is that horse has been out of the barn for a long time, and so trying to claw that back now is sort of probably not that tenable. On top of which, Iron Maiden have always been smarter than that. I mean, back in the days when Metallica were banging their fist about Napster, Iron Maiden were just like shrugging, going, "Yeah, look, the fans like us. What can we say?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. All right. Any more comments about this beer? Dave, what do you think about the beer, the mainframe?
I like it. You know what I noticed? So it seems to happen a lot. I don't know if this is really a thing or if it's just my brain doing weird shit, but there's a very definite difference between the first slug and the rest of them. You get a very different taste, different flavor off the first one. Yeah, I see Alan's head nodding.
Yeah, sometimes. There. Yeah, I do notice that.
I noticed that with this one.
Sometimes I try a beer and it's, I don't taste a particular thing that's supposed to be in it. And then the further I get into it, I do taste it. It's weird how that happens.
Yeah. Having said that, I like this.
Good.
I'm definitely ruined for like regular beers. I'm not even sure what those would be, honestly, anymore. I mean, as everybody knows, I've never been a beer guy, so I never had the Luckies. I never had the Kokanees, really, you know, stuff like that. So
you know, when microbrewing and, you know, craft beer first started coming onto the scene, before it was really widely available, especially if you went to a restaurant or something, my beer of choice was Rickard's Red, which was considered at the time to be a microbrew beer. It's not, and
yeah, Rickard's
I wonder.
It's got a little more color and a little more flavor than your options, doesn't it?
I wonder if I was to drink a Rickard's Red right now, what I would think of it. I don't think I'd think very highly of it.
My go-to back in the old days, like the pre-craft beer days, was Old Stock, because really? Everything else was 5% and Old Stock was 6%. They branded it as a malt liquor, which it's not. But it was an extra percent, and that when you're drinking at the bar watching bands is a good idea. So yeah, I don't know. I think there were a few others, like a Labatt Wildcat sort of draws some fun. You know, like there is a place in the world for shitty beer that's just there for you to get drunk. And then there's this sort of interesting niche sort of in between those worlds. I remember, so this was back when I was working at the 4 Mile. I was talking to Graham, and he was asking me about one of the products, and it was this Danish beer, Fax. You know Fax?
Yeah.
And Fax comes in a few flavors, but 2 of them are like 8 or 9%. And he was asking me who drinks that. And I'm like, oh, well, actually, these Scandinavian beers are very strong in flavor, but for that very reason, they go very well with fermented foods, in particular things like blue cheeses. So like a Danish blue cheese, Danish beer, Danish cheese, right? Some people even have it with fermented fish, which, is a Scandinavian delicacy. And it's really useful if you need to get drunk really quickly while you're running through the park.
I see that stuff on sale all the time. There's so much of it available, and it's usually got dust on it because I don't know if too many people buy that stuff.
Ooh, wow.
How is it?
What Stroya?
Well,
so it's sweeter than Blue Bridge, but it's got that slightly deep sort of kind of taste, like it's a little bit mosquito repellent,
right?
But it's other than that, it's very silent but deadly. You would not automatically know if you were sipping on this that you were drinking 9% beer. 9% beer.
Wow.
Yeah. That is an alarmingly quaffable 9% beer.
Wow. Good stuff. So, hey, can I get into some of the articles here?
Do it, yeah.
The Great Canadian Beer Fest, which takes place in September 7th and September the 8th. Tickets went on sale this past Saturday. They're $40 each. A bit alarming is the cost of a token has gone up from $1.50 to $2. So every little 4-ounce taster that you get is going to cost you $2. Not a lot of people are too happy about that. But the list of breweries that will be at the show this year was released today. I included a link up there. There's some interesting stuff. So there's some breweries here that I've never heard of before. Back Roads, Britannia, never heard of them. Collective Arts. I don't know who that is. Crossroads. East Vancouver. Shane, are you familiar with East Vancouver?
No.
No.
Never
Considering you live there. Gladstone is going to be there. Iron Road. I've never heard of that one. Mariner. Never heard of that one. Let me see here. Who else? Oh, Red Arrow is going to have a booth this year. I think this is the first time they've had one. Another one called Small Block. Smithers. And Winterlong. I've never heard of Winterlong. And also, interestingly, there's going to be a special booth for Alberta brewers. So this is going to be one booth that's going to have 4 different breweries in it, including Blind Enthusiasm Brewing, the Dandy Brewing Company, Blindman Brewing, and Town Square Brewing. Now, interestingly, Big Rock is going to be at the show, but they are not included with the Alberta brewers.
Well, what about Wild Rose? Are there any other Alberta brewers besides the?
I'm going through, unless some of these new ones that I'm not recognizing. I mean, they may be from Alberta. I don't know. I'm thinking not. Now there are some from Ontario. Bose is going to be there. There's some from, interestingly, Steam Whistle isn't going to be there this year. They actually haven't been there in a couple of years. They've got some from Quebec as well, including Dieu de Ciel.
Nice.
Trois Mousquetaires.
Yeah.
The Trois Mousquetaires?
I think it means 3 musketeers.
No, just picturing like a bunch of large moose with like big, huge brim hats, feathers, little tiny swords. Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Actually, I've seen their name before, and I think the way it's written, I think that it is spelt funny. I think. Does anybody know if we have musketeer mooses? Meese?
No, I don't know.
Mooses, right?
Yeah, and there's also going to be a brewery there, and I'm assuming these guys are from Quebec. Brasserie Dunham. I guess
Brasserie Dunham.
It doesn't really sound all that, except for the brasserie thing. It doesn't really sound Quebec, but could be. Whatever. Anyway, it's a pretty impressive list. I believe there's something like 66 breweries in total.
Wow.
So far. So
does that mean we're going to go?
Huh?
Does that mean we're going to go?
I think we should go.
There's only 66 ones there.
I'm still a little bit miffed at the price increase of $2 for a token as opposed to $1.50, and everybody that I've spoken to thinks it's a huge gouge. Now, the Great Canadian Beer Festival says that they have had to deal with added costs for the festival. They have not raised ticket prices in several years. I think they said 2012 was the last time they raised ticket prices. And they say they haven't raised the cost of their tokens in 4 years, which, I don't know, it seems like it was $1.25 not too long ago. And then they raised it to $1.50. That was hard enough to swallow. Also, I was of the opinion or of the mind that the token... The money you pay for the tokens goes to the breweries, not to the festival itself. The money that you spend on your admission ticket is what goes to the festival. So that means if that's still the case, then the $2 per token is going to the breweries, not to the festival, which again doesn't explain why the cost increase.
The $2 a token that are going to the breweries, 25 cents, maybe 50 cents of that $2 token then go to pay for the booth.
I guess so. Anyway, I mean, their reasoning for it is rising costs, and I mean, costs are rising for everybody.
If they're saying costs are rising, well, yeah, okay, sure, costs are rising. If they're saying that they're charging the extra money to cover the rising costs, then one presumes that the money that you're spending that's extra, which is for the tokens, is going to the festival, not to the breweries, because otherwise it's not covering their costs.
Exactly. So something's amiss there. But I think we should go anyway, and we'll see.
I think I should go. I just don't know whether I can.
Yeah.
No, that's true, because you are. When do you have to be back in school?
I should know that, shouldn't I? And I don't. I'm still finding my feet in summer job land in Canada. Back to school means I'm thinking it's like probably September 1st, but I was wrong about that last time, so I guess I should check.
What was it last time?
Oh, I think it was something like August 28th, but I think I had a date. I think I know I had a date. Yeah, it was.
Don't do it, Dave.
Sorry?
No, nothing. Sorry. You were talking and then I heard. Dave was yawning.
Yeah, well.
All right, so
Dave
let's
would yawn at a date, wouldn't he?
Well, on that same vein, are you guys watching the World Cup?
No,
me neither. But
I watched a little bit. I did.
So the wife of one of a player from what team? Oh, come on. Scroll, internet. Here we go. From Team Portugal, the goalie, who is named Rio Patricio, has a wife. Her name is Vera Ribeiro, who is a professional sex therapist. And she is recommending that her husband's teammates jerk off in order to win games.
Sorry, I was totally not expecting that at all. Could you rewind that? Sorry.
It sounds like an amazing distraction tactic. I just wonder what would happen in terms of like the televisual legalities.
So, according to this article here that's printed in the Toronto Sun, it's a hands-on solution that Vera Ribeiro thinks can turn things in the European champs' favor. She believes soccer stars who toss one off will be more chilled out and less stressed than abstainers from the joy of self-love. In the sporting world, it's been a touchy subject. Some coaches order their players to abstain while others encourage it. Which is true, especially old school coaches, they say, you don't want to lose an edge, so, stay away. In fact, some teams, what they'll do is, even though they're at home, will put their players in hotels to keep them away from the wives and girlfriends and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, I always picture, what's his name? The trainer from Rocky, the Burgess Meredith character. Come on, Rocky, catch the chicken, Rocky. Come on, catch the chicken. But, I could picture him going, all right, hands off the penis. Get away from your penis. No, you. Adrian, Go to a hotel.
And she says something interestingly. There's a quote from Veer from her at the end of the article. She added, "Nothing positive can come from abstinence." Up here, high five.
This is reminding me of the time.
Nothing positive.
This is reminding me of the time that didn't Italy host the World Cup at the same time as Cicciolina was running for president of Italy?
I have no idea.
You know Cicciolina though, right?
Cicciolina,
whatever you say, Cicciolina.
I don't know.
That's not ringing bells for me.
No, not for me.
No, the porn star that ran against Mussolini's granddaughter in a.
Is this recent?
This was like the late '90s, I think.
No, my question is,
Mussolini's granddaughter ran
against a porn star who was dating that fucking dinkus of a postmodern artist. You know the one that
Alessandra Mussolini.
No, the one that does porcelain Michael Jacksons and shit like that.
this sounds like a terrible plot for a porn movie.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, not only is it a terrible plot for a porn movie, it is a real life, like,
wow,
terrible plot for a porn movie. Like it's like life has adopted the rules of a terrible porn movie and conducted itself thus.
Ouch.
Jeff Koons, that's who I'm thinking of.
Politician in stilettos.
Oh my God!
I'm still amazed that
that's an article
Mussolini's
from the
granddaughter ran. Like, did she do well?
Oh yeah, I think it was a close runoff. Like that said, I mean,
was she like?
The problem with Italian politics is there are so many different fucking parties that in order to have a marginal advantage over other candidates, like not very much needs to happen.
Was she promising to make Italy great again?
Oh, probably.
Yeah. She's gonna finish what her grandfather started, or I don't know. It would be horrible for any nation to be led by anybody named Mussolini again.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
you don't want to pick on somebody unfairly for their last name. But yeah, I mean, it's important.
Look, is there anybody else in the world named Hitler?
The optics are bad.
Is there anybody else in the world who has the last name Hitler right now? Because if there is, they should probably change their name. Can you imagine? Can you imagine you're like some teenage kid and you go to put in a resume to like a grocery store to be like a bag boy or something, and it's like, okay, let's look at we got Jimmy Hitler here. Like, who's gonna hire him? I mean, come on, change your name. There's some names that should just die out.
You're right. I mean, look, I think for practical reasons, most people would do. Now that said, I don't know if I think the same applies to the first name Adolf. Like, Adolphus is an old name. Like, there have been a lot of Adolphuses.
Not anymore.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
like, in all my,
suppose
all my years.
Okay. All right. So suppose some fucking tyrant named John fucking acts like a dick. Everybody gonna stop naming their kid John or something? I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't think there's anybody out there named Adolf anymore.
Well, you'd probably find somebody.
We'll probably find like one or two, but
I'm guessing the reason you probably wouldn't find a lot of them is because we're in Canada. But like if you were in fucking
you go down to Brazil,
Eastern Europe or something, it might be a little different.
Right. All right.
You mentioned.
Oh, sorry. You were talking.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I put an article in the chat. Speaking of Steam Whistle, because you were talking about Steam Whistle coming to thing, they're rebranding.
What?
And they rebranded. Apparently, their logo is brand new, and they are putting health like information, nutrition label on their beer, which is kind of weird. So I'm kind of curious if that we'll get to see that new stuff. This is an article from yesterday, so it's pretty new. Strictly, I think at this point it looks like it's only their Pilsner, but anyway,
it's a Pilsner.
They don't make anything else.
No, they don't. They make nothing else. This is part of their company thing that they do one thing and do it really well.
I just don't see it out here all that often.
Yeah,
I had no idea, but that's okay. Because moving on to the next story that I threw up there, this is a bit of a follow up to I think last week, maybe the week before, talking about the whole Alberta tax thing, and now that they have to basically pay people back for all the taxes. Alberta has been ordered to pay Saskatchewan and Ontario breweries $2.1 million for restitution for the tax thing, which I think is kind of cool. So there you go.
That's interesting.
And
so how are they going to collect?
One government has to pay basically, and I suspect they're going to pay the Ontario government, and then the Ontario government.
So sorry, was this for protectionist stuff going on in Alberta?
Yeah, I remember the tax they put on beer being imported into Alberta to protect.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
that was back in 2015, I think. They were charging something like 48 cents, 50 cents per liter of beer, but it jumped up to $1.25 at some point. So I mean, they were pretty high tax. Right. So yeah. So basically, but then anyway, they got struck down a few weeks back, and now they.
You know what Alberta should do? Instead of taxing, they should just charge tokens.
Send tokens west. But anyway, the Great Western Brewing Company and Steam Whistle are the main breweries that are eligible for being given money. But that's not the most exciting story this week. The most exciting story, I think, to me, is that because pot is becoming legal in our country by October of this year, this means that marijuana beer is starting to be a thing. Along with other edibles and things like that. There you go. It's basically beer is kind of the next step. Marijuana beer is going to be a thing. And yeah, so there you go, boys. We're going to get high and drink beer at the same time. Dave is thrilled, I can tell.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Partying. I think it'd be interesting to put CBD oil into beers, if that could.
That would be a good idea.
Be made to happen.
Sorry, and Locke is now back. Sorry, I was pausing there because Locke disappeared. Locke, we're just talking about how because of the legalization of marijuana in our fair country, there is going to be marijuana beer coming down the pipe. One of them specifically is coming from a brewery that goes unnamed in this article, but it's in Victoria apparently, or is it their party? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of companies getting in on the action. So,
there'll be tons.
What would you guys think of marijuana beer? Would that actually taste any good?
I've tried it.
You've tried it? What? Give us a review.
Yeah. So in Oregon, this is old hat. In Oregon, what happened was the amount of pot being grown for recreational use far outstripped the amount of actual demand. And so they needed to come up with things to do with pot besides smoking. And one of them was that they collected the CBD and infused it with beer. And I have to say, it made for a kind of a skunky kind of a,
I would imagine,
sort of deep IPA. Now, this isn't the psychoactive component. right? Like the psychoactive component would be THC. This is effectively, it's like a painkiller, CBD. I'm curious to know whether there's been any actual pharmacological research on what happens when you do that, because like I've tried it, it's fine. Like I didn't get high on it, but it tasted good. It was a complex flavor, but you know, like I don't have a heart condition. Is there? I would be curious to know. Now, like the number of people that fucking get tanked up and then smoke a fucking doobie, I don't think it's exactly like this is untested territory in that sense. But you know, it would be like if you're gonna do it properly, you probably want to chase all that stuff down before you start loading your beer up with stuff, and then put it on the market and see what happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to expect from it, but I think we'll get a lot of opportunities to try it. I think once the legalization happens, maybe not in late 2018, but certainly in early 2019, I think we can expect to see lots of stuff hitting the shelves, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for us to try a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, hey, we were talking about Solo, the movie, briefly last week. I finally went and saw it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really great. The guy that played Han Solo, the name is escaping me.
Dude, that guy.
I thought he kind of
the guy with the high pitched voice. You mean?
I thought he kind of nailed the character myself.
He nailed the character. Not the voice.
Not the voice. You know, it kind of would have been kind of cool to, I mean, and this would have been doing a disservice to the actor, I think. But it would almost be kind of cool to hear Harrison Ford actually record the voice and overdub.
Are you kidding? I already have like the software solution sort of mapped out as to how I'm going to get a hold of that film. Take the soundtrack, isolate just the voice, pitch it down like I'm thinking an octave, and then fade it in sort of softly, and then also pitch it down sort of like a semitone up, and sort of range it back, so not so that you're actually getting any of those, but then filter them so that you're just getting the low end timbre, just to make the voice sound a little beefier. You know what I mean? Because Harrison Ford has a deep voice. That guy does not. And if you could just fix that little thing, then it would make my mind happier.
Yeah. You know, it was funny going into the movie. I completely forgot that Chewbacca was going to be in it. And when Chewbacca was first introduced, I'm like, oh, it's Chewbacca, right? So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought whoever played Chewbacca nailed it.
Yeah, it's not the same guy. It's a different guy, but he actually studied under Peter Mayhew for a few years now. And ever since I believe it was episode 3, he was Peter Mayhew's understudy, and now has taken on the role full time. Yeah, and he's nailed it, of course.
Does he, on the side, have a job as being part of an elite team of special forces agents that were betrayed by their country and are now avenging wrongs out of a van that roams around the country?
Yes.
Because that is exactly
1972 or 19.
Crack Commando Unit.
Crack Commando Units was God, my God, it's left me. In 1970,
TV that Shane doesn't know.
oh my God, that's brutal.
Wasn't it 69 in 1960?
No, it was 1972.
Crack team of
Crack commando unit.
A crack team of a crack command. Oh my God,
a crack commando
bunch
unit
of dudes are like
was sent to
donuts.
prison for crimes they didn't commit. These soldiers promptly escaped from maximum security
stockade to the Los Angeles underground.
They still wanted by the government. They survived as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if you
no one else can help, and if you can find them,
maybe you can hire
the A team. Wow. Still can't remember where I left my keys, but I remembered half of that stupid opening.
Man, I want to go and watch that now.
So now you guys have seen Solo, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, without giving anything away, I mean it ends kind of open-ended. You know, there's some questions that are left.
Only sort of kind of, though. I got the impression that we don't need to expect anything more.
Okay.
Well,
no. There is a gaping gash, a fucking wound in the fabric of space-time.
Yes.
Because what the fuck is Darth Maul doing at the end of the fucking picture? Unless that isn't Darth Maul and that's just a generic type of alien.
Oh yeah, just really quickly, the whole Darth Maul thing was actually set up from the animated series.
Yes, from the Clone Wars.
From the Clone Wars
and Star Wars Rebels.
And from Rebels, yeah. So
okay, well, that doesn't help me because those are cartoons and Darth Maul died.
They're part of canon.
Apparently they're considered canon.
Did Darth Maul not die?
No,
he did not die. He survived.
Okay. All right.
He survived, and I've forgotten the story, but basically he's
got
magic legs.
Legs.
Yeah, he's got robotics legs. But he's kind of gone the route of
Darth Vader has magic legs. They all have fucking magic.
Exactly. So he's got Vader legs.
He spent some time as a spider too.
True, that's true.
Really?
Yeah, he's got quite the the
story is quite good actually.
He'd look good as a spider. I would fully spider if I were him.
Yeah.
It's like that Patton Oswalt thing where he did that thing on Parks and Rec with the his idea of how you can bring, because Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet that of course he can go into any other plane of existence. So if he entered into the Star Wars universe, he could, become like a powerful, force against the Empire or whatever. And if you've never seen it, look up Patton Oswalt Parks and Rec filibuster. And it's amazing. It's like 6 minutes long of him just going on about this entire idea of what this is before the episode 7 came out. So yeah, it's amazing. And the X-Men and all of the Avengers and all of those guys are all fighting, with Luke Skywalker and whatnot. But Chewbacca is beheaded and is put onto a robot body. That's a spider. So there you go.
But anyway, what I was getting
at some level, I feel like we're living through the development of like what in the future are going to be looked back on, like Homer and Ovid, and like
yes,
and like all that shit. Like
Star Wars
about it. Star Wars set out to make myth. I think the truly astonishing thing to my eyes today is that it worked so well that new myths are being written.
Yes.
In
1,000 years,
that underlying myth.
In 1,000 years, Star Wars will be to those people what Greek mythology is to us.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of rad,
Yeah, but I was getting to a point here. So the Han Solo movie, it kind of ended open-ended, and I've heard stories that what they were looking to do was create sort of like a Marvel Infinity War kind of thing where they were going to have all these characters and everything, all these movies, these standalone movies they were going to make. They were going to make the Han Solo movie, Boba Fett movie, maybe an Obi-Wan movie or something like that. And all of them would come together at some point for like a movie that was all together. But because Han Solo movie has not done well at the box office, what is not at all. What was reported today is that Lucasfilm has put all spin-offs on hold indefinitely. So that means that the pending Boba Fett movie is on hold. The pending and rumored Obi-Wan movie is on hold indefinitely. The only movies that are currently still going ahead as scheduled is Episode 9.
Why do they think it hasn't worked?
I think because it's well, compared to everything else, it's performed very poorly. But here's the thing: the biggest problem that they did is that they have oversaturated the Star Wars market.
Yes,
one movie a year is fine, but you need to space it out by a year. You don't release a film in December and then another one
in the summer.
Like that. No, that. Yeah, that to me was, I don't know if it was arrogant, but it was pretty stupid and
greedy.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, they should have just decided, you know what? Okay, we're going to do this, but you know what? Let's push it to December. I mean, they were having problems with that film anyway. So, and here's the thing: Memorial Day is one weekend. Throw in December.
You know
December, like 18th. You got at least a couple of weeks because a lot of people take time off around then, like that. I mean, sure, Star Wars originally came out on Memorial Day. That's fine, but December is a lot more. People have a bit more time to go and see films.
Yeah. More to the point, on the subject of having trouble with the film, though, they should have trouble with the film. And anybody that makes a Star Wars film that walks in and thinks, "Oh, this is going to be a cakewalk," and then doesn't run into any trouble. Like maybe they made some fucking, some like sort of Ewok side chain or something. I don't know, but like a Star Wars film needs to be treated in such a manner that if there's no fucking difficulty, you should be asking yourself why is that exactly? Because there's a lot of people that have high expectations for the level of integrity that Lucas brought to the original vision, right? And that's sort of what everybody's still really kind of riding on. Like if that's not there, then I'm not really sure they have the same thing that they think they have. Nobody should expect to make an easy Star Wars movie, I guess is what I'm saying.
I can see that.
And in somewhat related news from the other side of the universe, Star Trek, apparently there's a report out that they have signed on to create 5 new series over the next few years. And rumored that one of them will feature Patrick Stewart.
Oh, fuck. Look, I hope so.
I know, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bald guys unite, etc.
Bald guys unite.
Yeah. Bald guys. Hello.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like you're completely beating me at being bald. I'm less bald than you, but not by much.
No, not by much.
I'm catching up fast too. Check it out, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys should get like tattoos on your head of like tattoos of hair.
I thought about that actually.
No. I would go Bam Bam Bigelow, and it would be all like, snakes and stuff. You know what I mean? What? Bam Bam Bigelow? It's not a right off the top of your tongue kind of reference.
Hilarious.
Oh my god, Bam Bam Bigelow.
I want to try some of that spray on hair.
Like silly string?
Well, I don't know what it is.
Chocolate mousse on your head.
Oh, Bam Bam Bigelow died.
It's like that furry.
Really?
bold in a can. Oh, almost all of the WWF guys that we watched when we were kids are dead.
God, Bam Bam died at the age of 45 in 2007.
Of course.
What happened to this guy?
Steroids, drugs.
Cocaine and high levels of cocaine and an anti-anxiety drug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, he was suffering from.
So he was taking cocaine to create the anxiety that he was taking.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It was actually a result of he apparently had a heart problem and a major back injury, so he was probably self-medicating when he shouldn't have been.
Probably right.
Although I gotta say, the saddest classic wrestler death is still for me Junkyard Dog, whatever his name really was, I've forgotten, but he died he fell asleep at the wheel and drove into a tree the night of his daughter's high school graduation, which is brutal. But I mean, there's lots of other sad things, but Bam Bam's gone. So's Rick Rude. He died actually in 2000 of a heart attack at the age of 40. Man.
A lot of them die young.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true.
I don't think people understand the amount of work that goes into being
anybody that wants to rhyme off on how wrestling's fixed, it may be fixed. It's not easy.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know what? I mean, when they get hit over the head with a chair, they get hit over the head with a chair.
The
blood is real. The injuries are real. They're not only doing, like the television show for WWF may only be on once a week, but they do tons of traveling shows all week long, going all around the country, basically performing 5 nights a week. And then they do their weekly performance thing that's televised. And then they continue doing it. I mean, these guys are killing themselves night after night after night, and then are expected to continue on the next night like nothing happened. And that's when they get into the problems with the drugs. Anyway.
Those are all the stories for the week, and it makes me sad.
Yeah. I'm out of beer.
Yeah, me too.
That beer went down awfully fast, that Mainframe.
It's a very smooth beer, I gotta say.
Smooth. It was easy drinking. It was, wow.
Can't complain.
I don't know if it's just that I pace myself or that I supplied well, but
I think you supply well.
All right.
Any final words before we kill it, boys?
No,
I'm good.
Nope.
You got nothing? All right. Dave?
Nope. Nothing.
Nope. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Come back next time. We'll be awesomer. And as always, do all the social media stuff and that kind of thing, because I can't think of it right now because I've been drinking beer. Thank you so much. Take us out, Alan.